Let's talk about that, okay? So here we have a situation where we thought that, the house has to be a certain way, and you, Kip, do your stuff on the outside. And therefore, she felt torn. Like I'm two different people. Here, I'm faking here, am I faking there? Now, you allowed her to be her, unfortunately, the way that she's comfortable in your house, right? But because now she doesn't have to have this whole thing in her mind of I don't know who I am and I don't know, and I feel split and I feel torn and I feel fake and I'm lying, right? Now she's not split, not fake, not torn. She's just her. But now she's getting healthier. And the next step is going to be that now if she's healthier, she can behave healthier, she can act healthier. And so many of that other behavior that was bad behavior actually goes away. A lot of it did already. So the therapy world wouldn't know what to do with this because they don't understand that the acceptance of the bad behavior disables it. You are enabling her bad behavior. That's where they stop. But they don't look at the end of the sentence. You're enabling her bad behavior so she doesn't have to be tormented. And then she can afterwards look in the mirror after, it's not even that long, a few months. And she's able to look in the mirror and say, is this what I want to be? Do I really want to dress like this? And she can start thinking about it, which she couldn't do as long as there was a war in her brain where I'm two different people, I have two different lives. One of the earliest, long time ago, I don't deal with girls. I never dealt with girls, women, only couples, and only boys. But I was on Quentin and 36. There was like a center, a place for kids off the derech. And it was the only time I ever had anything to do with a girl. The guy asked me at the end of the session, I repeated the story many times, at the end of the night, basically this girl was 14 years old. She wasn't really wearing clothing. And she had like black all over. She looked terrible. It looked momish terrible, little girl. And they asked me, can you drive her home because we're closing up and she has no way to get home, which I would never do today. And even then I felt uncomfortable. Ad kadei kach that I asked her to sit in the back seat, which I wouldn't have minded a normal girl in the front seat, not so chassidish, but I was really queasy about it. And the truth is, I drove her. She was high. She was 14. She was messed up in the head totally. I could have done anything I wanted to her. Any man could have done anything. Or she wasn't here. She was the mamish, and they put her in my car. And I just schmoozed with her while I drove. It was only like a short ride. And where was she going? She was going to the most yeshivish block, in Flatbush. And on the way there, she's telling me, I can't wait to move out of home. I'm moving out of home. I was begging her. I said, I didn't know anything. This is before TP, I didn't know what to tell her, but I said, don't move out of your home. You're going to be in a basement somewhere all alone. How are you going to pay? You're going to die of hunger. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to care. And one of the biggest tinus complaints or pressure on her being was, she says, do you know before I walk in, I have to go to the backyard and there's a big garbage bag with my uniform that I used to wear in school and I got to put on the uniform in order to walk into the house. I can't walk into the house the way that I'm dressed. Now, I understand normal thinking that the parents thought that they have a very yeshivish family, probably a bunch of boys and stuff, and she was not dressed. I get it. I understand the problem. But their solution was breaking her, that I want to move out, and she would be, for sure, you know what, I don't know what happened to her. I shudder to think what would have happened to that girl. All the bad stuff would have happened, because I know boys who were raped and traumatized when they were in that situation. They had nowhere to go. And they gave themselves to somebody just for shelter and just for comfort and horrible stories. This girl, if she didn't feel comfortable at home, she probably must have, I assume she would have left. And who knows if she's alive today. I would be very shocked. And I just saw this. I saw this that, now, of course, we want them to be normal, and then we want them to be respectful. The problem is that people, you got to realize, these were respectful kids. They don't need a lesson in respect, R-E-C-P-E-C-T, right? That's not what's missing here. So people are fighting with them. You got to learn respect. The person's on fire, literally, just it's inside and you can't see it. But if you have eyes that see trauma and pain, you will see the kids on fire, and you got to teach them lessons about the value of money and respecting other people and to not be selfish and not be self-centered. Can we please learn these lessons after we pull the kid away from the cliff that they want to die every minute, right? I got a call today. I just want to share. from a parent who came here, Baruch Hashem. Had tremendous hatzlacha. They had a 16-year-old who they threw out of the house upon advice from experts, and then afterwards they came here, and Baruch Hashem, she's married now. She's frum. She's the whole package. Just wonderful. Parents are so happy, and the father called me up, shaking, literally shaking. Another one of his kids has an 8-year-old girl who's acting meshuggah, tearing the house apart, fighting, kicking the siblings, screaming, yelling. This is not normal behavior at all. And they didn't know what to do. And they went to a therapist, and the therapist said, you say, listen, there's a house here, there's rules. If you're not going to listen to the rules, then we have to punish you, and you lock her in the room. So the grandfather said, when he heard that, he said, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, hang on. We're not doing that. So he called me up. And al zeh ani baichia. This is why I'm crying. People used to fall apart at 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. An 8-year-old girl is nebuch. She's acting meshuggah. Obviously, there's some kind of a trauma. There's something caused this. And really, what are they supposed to do? Well, you can't do TP on an 8-year-old. Maybe you can. Maybe in 20 years from now, someone will realize that actually works the best to calm them down and get I don't know. But I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't even deal with 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds. I mean, these are babies. I don't know the age bracket. He said, well, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? The kid is acting crazy. They can't continue the way that they are. Hashem Yerachim. We heard last night in group, this woman came and talked about how from 3 years old to 6 years old, she was raped by her uncle. For 3 years. And obviously an 8-year-old or any age acting cuckoo and dysfunctional and on fire and beforehand, is a sweet, smart kid. Something happened. So the therapist thinks that you're there's a bad midah that you have to punish the child. And I'm just wondering, don't they see the future? How come it's so pashut to us that that's a bad idea and that's going to cause worse behavior? And then you look at the kid a few years later, as soon as they get strong enough, it's suicides and attempts and you're going to have alcohol. You're going to have the whole thing. Is there a success rate? I would love to know. I'm sure there are therapists out there that can say, yes, we have a certain percentage of success rate. I don't know. I don't know the age. But it's so cruel. Maybe Taka, they have to do that. It's so cruel. So I reached out to one of the top trauma experts that I know, and it's very, very sad. We got some advice, and hopefully they're going to try to do something. But the attitude isn't, I punish you. You became bad. You forgot how to behave. You need to be taught a lesson. Today I got a call. I got so many phone calls. Nebuch, this nice couple, their son is doing drugs and selling maybe a little bit and whatever, and the parents were advised, we got to get him arrested, throw him into jail. He should get scared and learn a lesson. It sounds so logical. I want to meet the kids who say that, yes, out of 100 kids you do that to, how much does it work? So I asked the parents, I said, I have a question for you. Are you scared of being in jail? So they said, what do you mean? Of course we're scared. So I said, how do you know that jail is bad? You didn't sit in jail. So they said, what do you mean? We know. I said, right. So your child also knows that jail is bad. You think that he has to see it, he has to be scared of it, he has to go in it, you have to scare him. Which part, you think his brain doesn't chap? You think his brain doesn't realize that jail is bad? That they take away your freedom and you can't get married and you're stuck in a cell and you go to the bathroom he doesn't know, he never saw a television show or a movie, or you think that you need to scare his brain into behaving. Now, I don't know, I would love to know the percentages of kids that it works for, but it just seems so odd to me. If you know your kid, who was a good kid and respectful and nice and sweet and smart and wanted to please and cares about people and is affectionate and is sensitive, and all of a sudden they're acting against their own nature, something happened. They don't get punished for that. You don't get punished because something happened to you. You got to figure out how to treat you. And until we figure it out, bad enough we didn't stop it and protect our kids. It's our job. Not our fault, but it's our job. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get angry at you, and we're going to teach you lessons, and because you don't know how bad jail is, and if you know how bad it is, let him rot there a little bit, and that's going to teach him. Look, it doesn't even work on the people who sit in jail for 10 years. 88.7 recidivism rate. It's not the tikkun. For our kids, chas v'shalom. So, the whole concept is that when we embrace the bad behavior instead of looking down and fighting, see what happens is we disconnect. And when you disconnect, you close the respirator, you have no influence. And we lose much more than we thought we were gaining, and you don't even gain because it doesn't stop the bad behavior. So that was what she said. I used to have two people, so there was a whole war. I was in a war with my parents, I was in a war with myself, I was in a war with the world, I was running here, I was running. Now I have one person. Now she gets healthier, and healthier equals that she'll actually be, Be'ezus Hashem, acting healthier is more tsunua. Every time they're a drop healthier, they cover up a little bit more. They cover, and every time they're less healthy, less and less and less. It's not a mistake that our girls, think about it, our kip from from families, kips, girls, dress worse than goyim. Goyim can close up and cover up in the winter. Our kids can't. It's because it's their pain, the level of pain. You could see it. And when they're in less pain, they can all of a sudden tolerate having their shoulders covered up and having parts covered up that they couldn't tolerate before. Trauma experts can explain why, but this is, we see reality, Nisayin Machiach, we see it. The happier and the healthier they are, the better they behave.